When you taste a wine, there's more happening than just the flavors on your palate. The structure of a wine, the way it feels and interacts with your senses, is what gives it balance, character, and the ability to pair beautifully with food. Understanding the key elements of wine structure, acidity, tannins, sweetness, and alcohol, will help you evaluate wines more deeply and articulate what you enjoy. Let's start with acidity. Acidity is what gives wine its brightness and liveliness. Think about the crispness of a fresh green apple or a squeeze of lemon. That sharp, refreshing sensation is acidity, and it's essential for creating balance in a wine. Without acidity, a wine can taste flat or overly heavy. Acidity is particularly noticeable in white wines, like Sauvignon Blanc or Riesling, but it's also present in reds, especially those made from grapes like Pinot Noir or Sangiovese. A wine with good acidity can make your mouth water, a trait that also makes it excellent for pairing with food. Acidic wines cut through richness and complement salty, fatty dishes beautifully. Tannins are another important component, especially in red wines. Tannins come from grape skins, seeds, and sometimes oak barrels used during aging. They create a drying, slightly astringent sensation in your mouth, similar to drinking strong black tea. Tannins add structure and texture to wine, giving it a firm backbone that can soften over time with aging. Young wines like a bold Cabernet Sauvignon often have pronounced tannins, while mature wines tend to have smoother, more integrated tannins. If you've ever felt a wine grip the sides of your mouth, you've experienced tannins in action. Sweetness in wine comes primarily from residual sugar left after fermentation. Most wines are dry, meaning all the sugar has been converted to alcohol. However, some wines, like a Moscato or a late harvest Riesling, retain a natural sweetness that enhances their fruit flavors. Sweetness is also a balancing factor. It can temper high acidity or soften bitter tannins. Even in dry wines, a subtle hint of sweetness can create the perception of ripeness or roundness, adding complexity to the experience. Alcohol is the final key element, contributing both to a wine's body and the warming sensation you feel as you drink. Alcohol levels in wine typically range from around 11% in lighter styles like Pinot Grigio to 15% or more in full-bodied reds like Zinfandel or Syrah. Alcohol adds weight and richness to a wine, but if it's too pronounced, it can make the wine feel out of balance. A well-made wine integrates its alcohol seamlessly, enhancing the flavors without overpowering them. The interplay between these elements, acidity, tannins, sweetness, and alcohol, is what determines a wine's balance. A balanced wine feels harmonious, with no single characteristic dominating. For example, a high-acid wine like Sauvignon Blanc feels refreshing because the acidity balances its light body and fruit flavors. In contrast, a robust red like a Malbec might have high tannins, rich fruit, and a full body, all working together to create a bold yet cohesive profile. Let's put this knowledge into practice with a simple exercise. Take two wines, a crisp white, such as a Sauvignon Blanc, and a structured red, like a Cabernet Sauvignon. Sip the Sauvignon Blanc first and focus on its acidity. Does it make your mouth water? Does it feel refreshing? Then move to the Cabernet Sauvignon and focus on the tannins. Do you feel a drying sensation on your gums? Is the wine's body light, medium, or full? Take your time with each and write down your impressions. Comparing these two wines will help you identify the different structural elements at play. As you explore more wines, you'll notice how these structural components create variety and balance. You might find you prefer wines with zippy acidity or ones with velvety tannins, and that knowledge will guide you as you expand your palate. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at pairing wine with food, building on this understanding of structure to create harmonious combinations that elevate both the wine and the dish. For now, enjoy exploring how acidity, tannins, sweetness, and alcohol shape your wine tasting experience. They're the building blocks of everything you taste.